Welcome back to Globesweeper Hex Puzzler. Today, we're gonna be getting into the additional mechanics, or at least a few of them, in the game, but of course, the first couple are going to be very basic. But before we do that, let's start out with the last non-new mechanic level Swiss cheese. Alright, the 2 is done to begin with. Nothing weird there. And this one, the whole gimmick is just that there are a lot of holes that open up, and yeah, that's kind of it. There's not really much to it. Again, like I've mentioned in the past, these holes, they're essentially just blank tiles, a fancy way of displaying blank tiles. There's nothing more to them. Alright, this one's done as well. Take care of the zeros first. Now this 2 is done. And we can't go there, so let's go back over here. Alright, another dead end here. This 2 is done. Again, I'm not really explaining too much because there's not really any difficult mechanics or logic to talk about. The first couple of videos are just gonna be showing the overall process of solving it, and not really much more. We'll get into the more complicated reasoning a bit later. So there we go. Alright, now, let's get into the cluster level with the cluster clues, and you can read this if you want to, but cluster tiles are essentially just clusters of tiles. They're chains that have to be together, so this one tells us that this has to be marked, and now this cluster tells us that it's a cluster of 1, so we remove the one connected to it. Any tile connected to it can't be marked, or it would be more than 1 in that cluster. So then here we get a cluster of 3, so it has to go on here and here to make a cluster of 3. Right here we get a cluster of 3, and then we have to remove this tile because we can only have 3, not 4. And here we get a cluster of 4, and then this one has to be gone. Here we have a cluster of 1, meaning none of the surrounding tiles can be marked. And over here we have a cluster of 7, and there are only 7 possible tiles for the 7, so all of them have to be marked. And then finally here, a little, like, sample piece of it, basically. These 2s all only touch 2s, or 2 tiles, so we mark all of them. And now we get a 6 cluster, which is already completed because it's in a cluster of 6, so you disconnect it from all other possible tiles. And then this 4 is marked, and this 4, and this 4, and now this one is a cluster of 5, so we have 4 here, we need 1 more, and we have to mark that. So that's how cluster tiles work. Now, let's move to line, with the line clues. You can again read this if you want to. One thing I will say in probably every single level that has line clues is press the X button on your keyboard. Get into the habit of doing that. Trust me, it makes this so much easier, because when you have lines going around an entire globe and you have to pay attention to which lines are completed and which ones are not, having this on so that you can remove the line on a completed line is very helpful, because this game, unlike Hexels, does not have a way to gray out one of these lines and just be like, I'm done with it, don't show me that anymore, unfortunately. So, press X, show them all, and then let's get started. So, this line right here needs 3 tiles, and there are only three tiles in the line, so mark all of these, and then now, left click or right click this tile or either tile to mark away that line, and now you know that line is done completely. This line needs 1, so these can't be marked. Unmark that line. This line needs 4, and since we already removed 1, that means these 4 have to be marked. Unmark the line. This one needs 1, so that's done. This one needs 1, so that's done. This one needs 2, so that's done. And you can also look at the tiles, of course. It's not only about the lines, so this is a 0, so these 2 cannot be marked, and we need 3 in this line, so that has to be marked. And then again, 0 here, and now there are only 3 possible locations left. So that's how line clues work. Now, let's go to area. Read this if you want to. The one change from other hex cells type games that I've played is that there are 2 numbers in area clues, and the first one is how many tiles are in this area, and the second number, the smaller number, is the radius that it will reach out. It will reach out 2 tiles in all directions, and you can click to show that area. Now you can press the Z key to mark all area clues on the entire map, on the entire level. I would not recommend ever doing that, because there's too much overlap and it just ends up being confusing, and it doesn't really show anything useful. So just look at them one by one. So, right here, we have 4 tiles in this entire area, and in this one, we have 18 tiles in this area, so let's count how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, which means we have to mark all of them. And then unmark that, and now this 4 has 4 in this area, so we unmark all of the other ones. And then here, we have 6 already, there's 5 more, we have to mark all of them to make 11 tiles in this 3 radius. And here, we already have 10, I can already understand that, but let's count them, 5 here, and then 5 here, so all of these are gone. There we go. So that's how area clues work. Now, I couldn't tell what the levels were called, so I actually do have to check what my title character limit is at, if we want to do any other ones today. So give me a moment. Turns out I can do 1 more level today, so let's move on with another cluster level, 3 links. And yeah, this one needs 3, so we just mark all of those. This needs to be a cluster of 2, so we have to go at least here, and now it's already a cluster of 2, so we have to disconnect it from the other tile. So let's just continue in this row. So this 1 is complete, this 1 is marked, or this tile gets marked for the 1, this needs a cluster of 3, so it has to go here, and get disconnected again. And now this 2 we can't say anything about, so let's go back to the start. This 3 needs 3 in a row, and then to be disconnected, the 2 needs this one. The 1 cluster needs to be connected to nothing else, and then the 2 is here, and that gives us this 2 completed. And then this needs a cluster of 4, so 2, 3, 4, and then disconnect it. So that's all I have time for, or rather title for, today, and the order of these levels is gonna get a little more convoluted at this point. I guess I'll just try and generally go in a circle around the globe, so we'll jump between a couple line levels and area levels and so on, and we're kind of getting into the part where maybe someone will actually need help, and maybe I'll actually commentate on my thoughts and how you reason things. So oh boy, the actual walkthrough is sort of beginning now. Hope you enjoyed, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!